ladies, so this is this week's challenge, and I've sort of gone a little bit overboard, if you'll pardon the expression, with this one, but when we open it, ta-da! Now this was inspired by Pam, who put one of her cards on, and I thought it was a beautiful design, so here we have our version. Okay, so there is sample number 1. Let's bring in sample number 2, and this is using Debbie Moore graphics. Okay, and when we open it up, there's another beautiful card. It looks complicated, but it's not really. So what I've done for you this time is, let me put these to one side. I will give you, in the bits below and in your email, I will give you 2 sheets which gives you all of the measurements. Okay, so one sheet will be all the panels that go on it, and one sheet will be the internal measurements of the card and all the score lines. Okay, so let's start with the basic card first, because that is so simple, and we're just going to fold in half, burnish, and that is our card that we will put inside, so we'll put that aside for later. Now we're coming to this internal one, and when you look at your sheet, we have 28 centimetres by, should be 20. So I'm going to measure 28 and I'm going to measure 20, and yes, I could bring in my guillotine, but not everyone has a guillotine, so I like to do it showing you how you can do it with no special equipment. So there we have 28 by 28 by 20. So the first measurement we're going to do is 14 centimetres down the whole lot. So we're coming in and we're coming down 14 centimetres down the card. Okay. Right, now we're going to turn it over onto the back, and we're going to do all our measurements on the back. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm doing 4 centimetres down from there. I'm going to put that in darker pen in a minute. So that's 4 centimetres. 4 centimetres up from the bottom. Right, this isn't going to show, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in black pen so it shows up better for you. So we've got 4 centimetres, 4 centimetres, and I'm going to that was 14 centimetres. Okay. Now, along the top, we're going to do our 9 centimetres and 19, and that is top and bottom. So we're going 9 centimetres and 19. 9 centimetres, 19, and we're going down, 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 down. Now we're coming back and we're going to do 4 centimetres, 7, 21 and 24. So we're going 4, 7, 21, 24, 4, 7, 21, 24. You can do it in pencil, and when you're more confident. Okay, so the sound's gone on the video, so I'll try and talk you through what I'm doing. Okay, none of these lines will show up, so we're going to put it now on the scoreboard, and we're first of all going to score the top 2. So that was the 19 and the 9. Do the same on the bottom of the scoreboard. So notice that we're not going to score across those horizontal lines. They are for cutting. Okay. So now we're going to do the middle lines, and an easy way of doing it is to take a ruler, because you can then aim straight for the crease. Okay. It saves you wavering off one line or another. Centre one's already been done, so now we're going to score the last 2. Okay, so that's all the scoring done. We're now going to take it and turn it at right angles, and we're going to cut. But I'm going to put a mark. We're going to cut from the first line to the last line. So I take my craft knife and my ruler, and we're just going to cut from one to the other. Okay. So now that's all done, we can turn it over and we're ready to work on the front. Now the first bit you do is to pull the top bit forward and gently ease the others to go backwards. So there's the front one, and then bring the front bit forward on each side and just gently press it together to make sure all the folds are going right. And you should end up with a very thin card. So get your bone folder and then crease all the creases, turn it over, do the reverse. Okay, and then get your bone folder and go on the inside edges as well. Right, there's an awful lot of folds and you need them to be nice and crisp. So now we can put it out flat and we're ready to decorate. So you will have all the measurements to do your panels, and the contrast is half a centimetre bigger on each one. So where you've got 11 by 6, your mat will be 11.5 by 6.5. Okay, so do that the same, half a centimetre extra on each one. Okay, so I'm sure you don't want to watch me do that, so we're going to pause the video and I will be back with all my stuff ready. Right, so now I've prepared some of my panels, and what I wanted to show you was this is Hunky Dory double-sided card. So on some of the panels I've gone for the pattern side, and on some of the panels I've gone for the plain side. So it's now just a matter of sticking our panels on. So I start with these panels, which are the biggest panels. Always make sure that you are away from the creases. So there's our 2 big panels. You'll see how quickly this card comes together. Okay. Now we're going to go for these 2 smaller side panels. So because I'm using black, I'm trying to keep my lines straight because they will show up. Okay, so there's my card already coming together. Now these are my 2 side panels. It doesn't matter which panels are patterned and which are plain. I'll show you the other sample in a minute where I've got them in a different layout. There we go. So now we're going to these top pieces. So now we're going to go to the centre panels at the top, and we're going to place on smaller panels. So there we go. Okay, always make sure that you're lining up your panels, because particularly on the outside ones, because I've put black round all my panels, it will show up if any of them are not straight. Okay. So if you need to go for wet glue, please do, and then you've got a little bit of wiggle room. Right, when I put these on, you'll see that I need to match those side bits so that they're equal. So, there you go. So it doesn't matter where the panels are patterned or plain. I'll show you at the end where there's some different layouts, and they all look really attractive. Okay, so we're going to put the last 2 panels on. There we go. and then we're going to prepare putting it into the card. Right, so there it is complete. Make sure it is all folding the right way. And we're now going to put double-sided tape onto our card. Now it pays to put extra double-sided tape on it because it is quite a weight of card that we've got going in the middle. So prepare both sides, flick over, and we're going to prepare this one. What you don't want is to be fiddling around with putting tape on when you've got it half in the card. So extra, so that's 4 pieces of tape that I've put on here. So we're going to bring in the outside. This is just showing you how I've done patterned, plain, patterned, plain, patterned, plain, patterned, 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 plain, patterned, plain, patterned, plain. So that is one different version of how to lay out your pieces. And when we look at the other one, most of the panels have got the rippled water, and it's only these centre panels and the side panel that I've put as plain. So anything goes, and don't worry, so long as it looks attractive, that's all there is to it. So what we're going to do now, I think, is put it inside the card. So here is the outside of the card, and I've already prepared a panel to go on the front. So this is Debbie Moore Butterflies and Flowers. Okay, so we're going to cover 4 pieces all the way around, and we're going to prepare the outside of the card before we add the inner. Okay, it's far easier putting it on a flat card than when you've got it inside. The bigger picture goes at the bottom, and there we go. There we have the front of the card. So we're going to fix in the inside. So we fold it all up, and we're going to place it so that it's matching on the front of the card. We haven't taken any double-sided tape off, right? But we're making sure that we've got the same border all the way round. And then I'm going to release all of these pieces. There we go. Now match it up, roughly hold it in place, and close the back page over here. Okay. Flip the card over, and now we're going to look at the front, but we need the bone folder, so keep that handy, and I'll show you why in a minute. We're going to release all the tape. You can see that now all the measurements we put on the back doesn't show up at all. We're covering them up. Now I'm going to take the bone folder, open the card, and we want to have a look and put the bone folder into this small panel here, which means that when we hold it down with the bone folder, we can now flop the front piece over and it will be perfectly positioned. Okay, we've got the same border all the way around. And now we can start looking at some of the decoration. Okay, I'm going to leave the front as it is for the moment. And I've got a selection of die cuts.
And I'm just going to position them anywhere. I'm going to use wet glue on this one because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. So if it pokes out on the mountain side, but you must not get anything in the valley. Okay, so there's my big main flower, and then I'm just going to look randomly at some of the other flowers to pop them on. Okay, I've got a couple of scrolly leaves, so I'm going to put those on the outside, and a flower on the bottom. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it sticks out on the outer pieces. Right, now I think I've got another scrolly piece, and I'm going to put that on the opposite side, but I'm going to put it a little bit higher, just so it's different. Okay, another flower onto the bottom. There we go. Every now and again, just make sure that it is folding and you haven't messed up any of the creases. Got some darker flowers, so I'm just going to play around with what I've got and stagger the flowers around. You don't have to have a lot inside. The pattern paper that you've put on will carry a lot of the prettiness of the card. Just play around with your placing, and when you're happy, add a little bit of glue. Doesn't matter that it's coming down into this bit because there's no crease there. We're going to add that one. This one I can just put the petals around the crease, so that's not going to interfere with the opening and closing. Okay, I've got some butterflies, and I'm going to just add a little butterfly on the inside. So that one's flying up there. And I think we'll add another one just to the lower part of the card. We'll keep it small so that we're not interfering with the creases. There we go, and I think that's probably enough. I can put a greeting or a message on the inside panel, so check it's all going to fold up. Now I could play with decoupaging the big flower on there. But that will take some time, so I'm just going to go, I think, for probably some butterflies on the front. So I'm just going to take a dark butterfly and place him on the front. Okay, that's quite pretty. Right. Now I think what I'm going to do is to put this as underwings. So because you've used wet glue, you've got time to play around. And change your mind if you wish. So there we go. There's our beautiful butterfly. And I think really that is quite enough. So there's our finished card. And when we open it, then we've got the pretty interior. Okay, so let's get back in some of the other samples, and we'll just take another look at some of the samples. Okay, so here we have the C one. There will be an extra one on the Pinterest page, but I had to give that away before I'd done the video. So that will be a new home one. And I had new neighbours in the week, so that went to them. On this one, you can just see I've added an extra layer just to make it pop off the page, but it doesn't go all the way across the card. I've only done it on the outside pieces, so if you can see that, right, that just adds one extra layer, but don't go into the inside of the card. Here's the other one. Okay, I've added a tiny flower extra to that, and these are roses, whereas the other ones were the water lilies with the butterflies. Okay, this is a mixture of two colours, but a really beautiful card. It might be a bit fiddly, but it's worth the effort. So enjoy. God bless.